Over the past several decades, LEGO has given us a multitude of different LEGO pieces. Pieces which quite literally build the foundation of every single set. And with the vast catalog of pieces present today, some are going to be used more than others and some are going to be more important than others. So let's rank every LEGO piece. Well, not every single LEGO piece, but you'll see what I mean. Firstly, let's talk about the criteria using the good old tier list. On the top, we have crucial usage, pieces that can basically be applied anywhere, whether it's terrain, buildings, creatures, or vehicles. And as we go down the list, the usage range will also go down more and more until we hit scarce usage. Basically, pieces that are created for one specific purpose and are never applicable towards any other creations. So with that out of the way, let's start with the poster child of LEGO. These small bricks. With 3-plate tall pieces such as the 1x1, 2x2, and 2x4 brick, these are the most basic bricks that fill in the gaps and support the structures. Because of their boxy and flat nature, they're not going to be seen as the foremost choice for detailing, but they do their jobs well enough. General usage. Next, just to show the ranking methodology that we're working with, let's talk about the large bricks. They're basically the same as the 2x4s and 2x2s, but as the title suggests, they're much more big. These pieces are basically only used as filler. They're not as versatile as the small bricks, which can sometimes be used as detail or at least be used in smaller builds, which means that these pieces will be put into the niche usage. I think this really just highlights the fact that most of the times, smaller LEGO pieces will be better. And we'll see more of that right now. Next, we have small plates. These pieces can basically fit into any sort of build. For smaller builds, they do the same job as the bricks by holding everything together. And for bigger builds, they can be used for detailing, forming small segments, creating structures, and even generating patterns. Basically, whenever you're building anything, having a few 2x1 plates on hand is not a bad idea at all. Crucial usage. Okay, let's say we have a plate. What if you want to build something in the center? Now that's where jumper plates come in. These pieces allow you to offset studs, so you're able to create more nuances and levels between plates. And additionally, this is extremely crucial for smaller builds where they essentially need these pieces so that they can create the necessary detail. But since they're not used in as many aspects as normal plates, they're gonna go into versatile usage. So placing bricks on top of one another is fun and all, but have you ever thought about placing bricks on their sides? Next, we have SNOT Bricks, or studs not on top bricks. These pieces basically introduce a whole new dimension that you can work in. Now you can truly explore the 3D space by building in all 6 directions. You want some greebling on the wall? SNOT Bricks. You want to add eyes to your character? SNOT Bricks. You want to create a dinosaur skeleton? SNOT Bricks. Easy crucial tier. Next up, we have tiles. You can't connect anything on top, and their only job is to make things smooth. Even though this is a very simple job, whether you're building a car or constructing the flooring of a pizzeria, you're probably gonna need tiles. And also, when you're trying to do things such as building on the side, you don't really want studs to intrude. Versatile usage. With flat tiles, logically also comes curved tiles. They're able to resolve any differences in height smoothly and are especially useful for super sleek designs or natural animal bodies, for example. Still not as applicable as flat tiles. General usage. So we have third dimensional curves. Now we have 2-dimensional curves. Wedge pieces. They basically do the same things that curved pieces do, being able to create different polygons and also different cool patterns. General usage. So there are natural angles with curved pieces and wedge pieces, but there's another way to create artificial angles using clips and handle pieces. With these pieces, you can actually create angles that you can build upon. And additionally, they're the basis for any moving joint found in any creature, mechs, or machines. Aside from these 2 main functions, there's also so many different unique and clever ways to use these pieces. You can build upside down, you can add details, you can fill in gaps. Basically, if you want to build in any angle other than 0 or 90 degrees, then you're probably gonna need some clips, no matter how big or small the scale of your build is. Need I say more? crucial usage. Okay, maybe I lied. Maybe these clips are not perfect in every way, because these clips rotate up and down. They don't have the ability to also rotate side to side. And that's a pretty big deal, because some joints in some creatures and animals are pretty flexible. So in came the ball and socket joints, or as I like to call them, the mixer joints. Now on the surface, these joints seem like the complete upgrade of the normal clips. They have every function that the previous clips do, and they even add their own new dimension of rotation. And it all seems good until you realize that there's two pretty big problems. Firstly, the selection of pieces that can actually incorporate ball and socket joints are fairly limited, which means that you either have to base your build around these joints, or you can just use clips, and they're much more specialized pieces. Secondly, for some reason, LEGO refuses to make these joints in any other color other than light bluish gray and dark bluish gray, and sometimes black for Technic ball joints. But nevertheless, a lot of creatures or animals that have very vibrant colors, by using these joints, they will have random dark gray patches in their orange color scheme, which looks really bad in some cases. So even though these joints have a lot of good functionality, they're still sometimes overshadowed by the normal clips and also have that color problem, which is why I'll have to put them in versatile usage, which by no means is terrible at all. Okay, all this talk about creatures or animals has brought up another type of piece, the specially molded pieces. Now these pieces, I feel like in general, are just cop-outs from actually trying. You know, instead of actually building a dragon head out of studs or plates, you just make a whole specific mold for it. And that, I feel, is kind of lazy and goes against the core values of LEGO. And it is because of these design philosophies that it makes these pieces kind of useless in normal average building. So if you want to have any deviation or creativity, then you're probably not going to use these pre-made molds. Unsurprisingly, scarce usage. Similarly, there are also pieces that have special material. So these are tires, cloth pieces, or even rubber bands. If a piece is not made out of normal LEGO plastic, there's probably a reason. Cloth pieces are normally extremely specific to a character that you can't use it in a general context, and even for things such as tires, if you're not building a car, you're probably not going to use it in a terrain build, for example. However, there are some very smart techniques that have used these type of pieces over the years, so they're not completely useless. But it's still definitely scarce usage. Speaking of all these unique molds and materials, it's important to talk about Bionicles, specifically their character and creature building system. They're basically Technic versions of ball and socket joints. Just by looking at these molds, you're probably going to realize that they look nothing like the normal LEGO pieces or plates. You're only going to see these pieces in Bionicle, Hero Factory, or Star Wars buildable figures. But it's still a pretty fleshed out system, so if people wanted it to use it, then they definitely can. So this is probably the perfect definition of a niche usage piece. Since the CCBS joints were Technic versions of ball and socket joints, let's talk about the actual Technic pieces. Technic is actually an extremely weird category, because a lot of times in normal system sets, they can be extremely useful in providing a extremely strong structure. Basically, for any even slightly large build, you're probably not going to want like a bunch of 2x4 bricks as your structure. You're going to want a Technic frame as kind of like your skeleton. Since stability is such a big issue when making LEGO sets, and Technic pieces remedy that, it'll probably put it at general usage right now. However, there's even more usages of Technic pieces, because as you might know, there is a whole line of LEGO Technic sets, and it is essentially a whole other system on its own, with their signature products probably being huge race cars. Additionally, on top of that, there are a lot of practical pieces such as gears that can make things such as kinetic sculptures or moving robots, and all these options are brought in because of Technic. So because of that, it's going to be put into versatile usage. Not quite at crucial usage, because there's still a lot of normal system sets that don't really incorporate a lot of Technic. Before we talk about the final category of pieces, I think we should talk about two more subcategories: the bar pieces and the studs with holes. By combining these two types of pieces, you can get a multitude of different techniques that you can use in so many different contexts. Firstly, we can establish that having studs and anti-studs are extremely useful, as that's what basically every other piece connects to. Secondly, bar pieces, which in conjunction with working with the handle and clip system, also come in many unique different shapes and sizes. Problem is, you can't really use those bars to connect with anything else other than other clips. But using studs with holes in them, you bridge the gap between the handle and clip system with the normal stud system. This opens up the possibility to building with a multitude of shapes and angles, along with allowing you to make things such as double-sided anti-studs, which is normally not possible with other bricks. So because these two types of pieces hold the key to a whole new dimension of different building possibilities, they're both going into crucial usage. Finally, let's talk about base plates. Base plates, I would say, are actually slightly controversial. Some people love these pieces and will use them in almost every terrain build, while others, including myself, don't think they'll be that useful. The reason is that unless you're making a huge Lego city that spans across your entire room, you're probably going to want to take each part in smaller sections. This is clearly shown by people such as Cheesy Studios in their Minecraft world, where they use smaller plates so that it's much easier to take apart and manage. And also, there's no anti-studs under the base plates, so that's a bit troubling if you want to build anything underneath. So for that, we're going to put base plates in the niche usage, and we're going to put larger plates such as the 6x6 or 8x8 into general usage. So yeah, that was my tier list. Is it controversial? If you have any different opinions, put it down in the comments below. But thank you for watching.